XIC Genius, we're going to put the lever on the outside. There's a little slot inside the key inside the lever spindle. We rotate that 90 degrees clockwise. Left hand or right hand, 90 degrees clockwise. The lever, we take the spindle, the key cylinder, rotate the key 90 degrees. Put that on. Click in place, rotate the key back to home position, and you can remove it. So that'll put your lever on. It's tight. Let's do getting the latch ready. 2 3/8. You put it on the diamond shape. You can pull it out for 2 3/4. And then depending on the handing of the lock, so we're going to make a left hand lock. So the latch will go in this position. You rotate this counterclockwise, and then that'll be for the position for a left-hand lock. We inserted the latch, we inserted the deadbolt. The cross or the little hub in the deadbolt goes towards the bottom position always, and we're going to install it. We always extend the deadbolt. Okay. So we're going to put in the outside. The wire on the 5.5 inch goes above the deadbolt. The spindle goes into the hub down here. And this goes through like that. Okay. You're on a door, so it'll be a little different, but I'm just going to lay this down just so it doesn't fall apart when I'm doing this. We put on the back plate. The harness goes through, it's a little protective cover right here. It goes above this and through the hole in there for clearance. And the other parts just go down through. So we route that in. Okay. Don't pull too tight, it'll come out a little bit. Then we go ahead and install, I usually install the top 2 screws going through the deadbolt. Okay, I don't tighten everything up yet, just kind of get everything aligned. And when I do tighten these, I'll tighten them by hand. There's 2 screws, large screws that go in through there, the flathead screws, and there's 4 screws that go through the bottom portion of the plate. Okay. The thumb turn spindle goes in right there. It's in that orientation, deadbolt's extended. Okay. So let me go ahead, this looks pretty straight down through there. I'll tighten these up by hand. I'm not going to tighten them that much. This is a plastic mounting block, so it'll collapse. So it's just enough to kind of snug it up. Okay. That's on. Now I'm going to insert the battery tray on there. So I plug in the connector from here onto the other one. There's a little catch on one side, and you can see it only goes one way. And so snap that into place. Okay. There's a little detent or a little arrow on the thumb turn spindle here. So we make sure that's pointing towards the deadbolt, that side. Okay. The wire gets tucked back up into the lock, into the lock prep, back into the door, and then we kind of slide this on. Make sure that goes that way and goes like that. This should be able to be rotated by hand. And it is, so that's pretty clear. So then we go ahead and install the screws to hold the battery tray. Same thing, we normally would do these by hand. 6 screws. We do not use a drill to do any of this, to power through these. You'll just destroy the unit. But I'm using an electric screwdriver, and I'm really not tightening up everything. I'll do that by hand. Okay. This still should be able to rotate by hand. It is. Okay. Everything looks good. So I'll tighten these up a little bit by hand, just to snug them down. Okay. All right. You can install your batteries now. I don't have any batteries installed. Oh, hold on a second. Cut that out of the... These are the batteries. Go ahead and install them. They have a little depiction of how they should go in here. Okay, so that'll operate the lock. If you notice, when you lift the lever, it extends the deadbolt from either side. After we get the batteries in, you'll hear the motor, you'll hear the sounds. We're going ahead and put since there is a little bump on the spindle here, you have to kind of orient this correctly. So don't just force it on, it'll pop it out. So that it only goes on one way like that. If I try to put it on this way, it won't go in like that. Then we go ahead and put the screws in. Same thing, do it by hand. Lever on this side just pops on. It should stay on with the lever catch. And that's essentially, go ahead and put on the face plates. You obviously have strikes for your lock also, but right now just put the screws on for the face plates, and that's it.